folks. Welcome to Monday night. Since some of you commented on the last live that you would not mind watching me make 5 minutes of natto and then all of it passive time while chatting, I figured I'd go live while I ate dinner and started my sauerkraut process. The sauerkraut process is essentially chop up your cabbage, sterilize everything, massage the cabbage with 2% of its weight in salt, and wait for the water to drain out of the cabbage, and then push it as compacted as you can into your sterilized container, and then let it sit for weeks until it ferments. So that's what we're going to be doing today. That's the main line of our live. But other than that, I bought $1 of scallions, which I think I'm just gonna wash and prep while we're doing all of that so that, you know, I don't let it wilt. I went to the HF dollar and up place that I used to go to all the time for budget eats. So I found some dollar bags there today. I bought a bag of sweet potatoes and a bag of tangerines and these scallions, and then I got some mini mangoes for 50 cents each. So I don't really know what I feel like eating tonight, so the dinner portion might be not so cooked as it is microwaved. But yeah, that's the theme of tonight. Let's do a mood check, shall we? My mood right now. Okay, we're just gonna settle down and be really, we're gonna kind of just let everything fall away. And I would like to give myself an 8 out of 10, mostly because I've been napping since 4 p.m. My body kind of just crashed at 4. My period came today, which explains why I was feeling so shitty yesterday. So, you know, having been blessed with a life of having shelter and food and a cat who still cuddles with me, 8 out of 10. I just woke up from a nap, and I feel a desire to cook despite my low energy, so I feel pretty blessed. So welcome everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Dead President's Day. And I would just say at the top of the live, refrain from giving me psychiatric advice. I don't know why, but there was one comment yesterday that I read back and it just like rubbed me the wrong way all the way. And if you care for me, which you claim you do, maybe don't tell me I really need to go see a therapist and get a better support network, because you know me, but you don't know 100% of my life, and saying something like that can just make you look like an asshole. In my eyes, at least. I don't know how other people think. Maybe there's a lot of other people who agree with you, but in my eyes, that's an asshole move. That's it. I'm not going to expand on that, but welcome. So I'm going to chop up the scallions and put it in here, and we're going to rinse it, and we're just going to let it sit while we do everything else. Okay. So I'm just going to prep everything here, and then we're going to start sterilizing as best as we can the board, the knife, the utensils for the sauerkraut. Wow, somebody just said truffles in the chat, and I just remembered I still have to eat all those truffles. So thank you for the reminder. Yeah, I've been really leaning into yellow. Yellow is great. And I found this shirt at a thrift store. I think I got it for $6, and it's 100% cotton. The fit is a little weird. The stitching is definitely not top grade, and the printed font in the back is a little bit cringe. It reminds me of those like East Asian shirts and sweaters that try too hard to have English on them sometimes, but it's cute. It's grammatically correct, but it's just like, interesting. But $6. Can't buy much for $6 these days, so I grabbed it. Oh no, George. George. Does he need to go out? Why did he pee on the floor? Does he know he's not supposed to do that? But human rules are pretty dumb, George. I agree. Why can't we just pee everywhere we want? What's kerning? I actually am not familiar with that phrase. Is that the print, the typography on the shirt? What a fun word, kerning. Oh, the spacing. Okay. For those of you who didn't see this shirt yesterday, sorry, it's backwards. I'll turn the camera around later when I'm not, facing you and stuff. Although I'm not facing you now. You know what I mean. Maybe you don't know what I mean. I don't even know what I mean. Whatever. But hopefully I can show you the shirt right side later in the live, because we're in mirror image now. Because YouTube added this new feature, at least when I stream on my phone, I can flip the cameras around. But that means that when I use the front camera, which I have always used for my lives, it's now a mirror image, and it's only the right way and unmirrored when I'm using my back camera. But the back camera means that I can't see what you're seeing, so I have no idea how I'm framed. That's a long explanation for those of you who are interested as to why my kitchen might look a little bit weirder if you haven't joined in a few months. It's because YouTube added a fun new back camera feature, a flip camera feature. So now you get to see the world mirrored back to you. Apparently, we look better. Sometimes some of us think that we look better in the mirror, which is our reversed image. And then that's why we don't like how we look in photos. That's why we think we're not photogenic, is because we're so used to seeing our mirror images and judging ourselves and evaluating ourselves that way, that when we appear on photos where it's backwards to our everyday self-reflection, it's unfamiliar and strange and unsettling and undesirable. Everything is because of the way we're used to seeing ourselves, which is why so much of religion tries to bring you out of yourself, but trying to bring yourself out of yourself kind of just solidifies the self first, because it makes you so aware of what the self is and why you shouldn't be yourself. But you should. That's the only way you can escape yourself. Let me see how this works. Yes, okay. Now you can see the back of my shirt. Right? I also feel like this shirt is kind of perfect for lives. It speaks to my audience. Alright, now I'm going to wash my knife and board first. One thing at a time. Okay. So yeah, since I'm home all the time and I'm really sick, I figured try to do some fermentation projects, boost the probiotics a little bit, and give myself a few little lengthy check-ins that are low lift, such as making sauerkraut. I actually tried to make ginger bug last week, and it was building carbonation until it didn't, so I don't know quite what went wrong, but now I just have really sugary ginger water that I've been using in my smoothies, so that's been fun. I'll hopefully try making another ginger bug again after I use up all of my sugary ginger water. But I probably, I don't know, maybe I need to use bottled water. I didn't want to. I just boiled my tap water. Maybe that's it. Maybe New York City's tap water isn't great for it. Or maybe I shouldn't have boiled the tap water. Because actually, when I think about it, I did make a ginger bug successfully years ago when I still lived in Woodside with Aaron. I don't know if I boiled that water, to be honest. So it's possible that I don't need to. So maybe I'll try again with less effort. Things sometimes work out better when it's less effort. I don't know how to explain it, but so I'm not going to sterilize everything. The right way to sterilize is to boil it in water, but I think I'm just going to rinse off with really hot tap water some of my bowls that I'm going to use to massage the cabbage with. And then what I'm going to do for the jar is actually I'll fill them with water and I'll microwave them for a couple of minutes. And then maybe after all that steam is let off in the microwave, I can wipe off the microwave and clean inside the microwave a little bit too, like a twofer. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take our cabbage, rinse it off, chop it real fine, and then weight it. So maybe I should weight it first. So let me see if you can see me right. Oh great, you can see me right, and you can see my toes. Enjoy the feet content. Alright, so let's weigh this first, because as I cut, the scale might zero out. So we're going to turn this to grams. 300 grams. I'm probably going to chop off this end right here, and I might core it. Some recipes, oh my gosh, how beautiful is that? Some recipes say they don't use a core, so let me see how much that weighs. 276 grams. Okay, we can still use a quart for something else. 276 grams, 2% of that is 5 grams. Is that right? Is roughly 5 grams of salt. So I think that's right. So now we're just gonna go ahead and give everything a slivery chop. It's so pretty, my goodness. I really like this habit of giving you my kind of emotional well-being score, my mood score at the top of every live, because it gives me a chance to reflect a little bit on how I used to score my own days quietly, mentally, introspectively. And I think I always used to like be really sad. I used to, well, I still am sad, right? You know me. Still very Eeyore. But I think I would always downplay all the good things in my life. And over time, I think, it's a feedback loop. Like how I put on makeup yesterday to feel better, and how there's scientific studies that say that if you make yourself smile, you can trick your brain into thinking you're happier than you are. I don't know, maybe I made myself sadder. Not to say that life wasn't sad, but maybe I made myself sadder by rating my days lower. So I was just thinking about that after yesterday's live. I was like, does grading my own well-being confirm a reality that I made up? And if that's the case, if I am so powerful to be able to make up my own reality like that, what is the reality I want to make now? Never minding what I used to do before, but what do I want to do now? So, as always, these live streams, they keep on teaching me stuff. I just realized that I bought this tiny head of cabbage for $2, and this weighing less than a pound means that this cabbage costs more than 2 pounds. $2 a pound, which is possibly the most expensive cabbage I've ever bought in my life. But it was so cute, and it was the perfect size for trying out sauerkraut. So I also have to say, following yesterday's live, when you guys told me that my mattress might develop mold if it keeps sitting directly on the floor like that, I literally spent like 7 hours looking up different ways to prop up a mattress off of a floor, and I even almost ordered this like $200 4-inch high metal slat base frame that I ended up canceling because I don't know, something inside me didn't feel like I wanted it. So if you can help me brainstorm on how to keep my mattress mold free during the summer without buying a $200 super heavy 80-pound metal structure, that would be great. No pressure though. Maybe we will just have a moldy mattress that we end up throwing out, and that'll signify oh, that was 6 grams. That was fast. That was way less salt than I expected it to be. Now I'm going to wash my hands. Maybe when the mattress turns moldy and I have to throw it out is when it signifies I should move out and move elsewhere and go do something different with my life. And it's not really a money issue because yesterday after doing all of that searching, I ended up buying myself a really cheap, well, relatively cheap, $200 mattress for my bedroom because I wanted a slightly thinner mattress to go into the bedroom on the frame that I have in there so that maybe Memo would like to sleep there. I have a feeling that maybe he stopped jumping onto that bed because he can't clear that jump without pain. That's what I'm guessing, because when he first came to me in June, he would still jump onto the windowsills and look out, and I've noticed that he's not doing that either anymore, but he is so curious when I open up the windows. So I have a feeling that maybe he's like a little bit more mobility challenged, even though he looks so sprightly. I wonder, because that cat tree that I get him, he never goes up onto the top shelf of it either. I've never seen him on the top shelf of that little tiny cat tree. And I didn't buy a big, tall cat tree because I figured as a senior cat, he might not want to jump up that high. And it seems like that might be the case. So I ordered that. I got myself what seems to be one of the softest all memory foam mattresses available on Amazon. And I decided to go on the cheaper end. $200 is pretty cheap. Because my Dream Cloud mattress, which I liked when I first got it, it was $900+. I decided I wanted to splurge when I moved in here because I was like ready to start my new life chapter and wanted to treat myself to a nice bed. And I have to say, I have rarely woken up with a sore back or anything. There have been a couple of times where I woke up with a really bad neck, but I think it was because I like fell off my pillow or something was underneath me really weird. But it seems like a good mattress. However, now that I've lost all of my muscle mass because I can't exercise anymore, my body is softening, which means the very firm leaning support of the mattress is kind of hurting me a little bit when I sleep on my side. I weigh 120 pounds, and a lot of sleep mattress review sites say that if you're under 130, side sleeper positioning is really difficult to feel comfortable when it's firm like that. And I think when I had more muscle, I had like a little more padding around my bones, basically. Like my bones were more supported by my muscles, and now that it's just like all kind of fatty tissue, it's kind of really uncomfortable. So I'm gonna try out a new mattress, see if it helps me, see if it helps Memo. He spent all day in the bedroom with me in front of the radiator when I was working on the computer, so it seems like he enjoys being near me still. Because when I moved to the bedroom to take my, or when I moved to the living room to take my nap, because that's where my mattress is now, he came and napped with me. So that was all unnecessary sharing of details of my life because I didn't feel like massaging the cabbage in silence. So there you have it. I don't have a box spring. That's the thing. I just have that fat ass mattress, and I don't own a box spring. I don't want to buy anything big because honestly, now that Grandma's not here anymore, I don't know. I don't know if I want to stay here for more than 2 more years, you know? Like, obviously, I can't say for certain because my health is so shit. So I can't think about much of anything anymore. But I want to look at you. I want to be able to look at me looking at you. So here we are. We're mirror imaged again. Does my face look different on mirror image versus not mirror image? Anyway, here's the cabbage. I'm just going to let it sit, and hopefully it drains out enough liquid to be able to kind of submerge itself in its own juices, which is why it's going to have to salt and sweat for a little while. I will cover it up with a lid. Or a plate. Let's cover it up with a plate. And then it can sweat itself out. Okay, now I need to decide if I want to eat veggies and fruit. I should. So, I'm going to chop up these little nuggets of cabbage root, I guess, whatever you call this bit of the cabbage. And then maybe we can make like a veggie soup with the chicken broth that we've made. Whoa, unfolds without assembly? Everything, okay, here's another thing. Everything that I found on Amazon required assembly, and I just feel like I don't have enough energy. As sad as that sounds, that's just true, unfortunately. I don't have the desire to sit there with a wrench crying about how I can't get 2 legs to meet up. Anyway, this is the batch of chicken stock that I made again today. I fridged it overnight, and then I added some water and I simmered it for another hour. This is the 3rd round of stock that I've made on the chicken feet. So quite a lovely batch of stock from our pound of chicken feet. Label that with the date. Okay. I would love to be like, you know, a really edgy person who can build her own furniture. That's really hot, but unfortunately that's not who I am currently. Okay. So let's think a little bit about, oh, why did I use that huge jar? That was dumb of me, because I'm going to use the stock now. So I don't need, whatever. Okay. We're doing dumb things today, whatever. You know what? I can put the chicken feet in that jar. That's the move. Let's get myself a smaller jar for our stock. Everything's out of order now. Ooh, milk crates. That's a fun idea. Perfect. gonna have to go hunting for a lot of milk crates. And they're really tall. I really don't want to add much height. That's the thing. Because I want it to be on the same level as my sofa, which is legless now, because I didn't want Memo to keep hiding under there. It's not that I don't want to give him a safe space, it's that all those corners right next to walls are so cold, and right now I feel like he's gone through so much health issues. I just don't want him to catch another bug. But, okay, I'm gonna dump this back in, and then we'll put our chicken feet in here. Should probably use tongs to make my life easier. So I'm gonna wait for this chicken feet to chill, because that's when the texture is best for eating. Right now it's a little too soft when it's still warm. It's kind of like Jell-O, you know? You want it to set. It's basically the same thing. Wow, I really hate kids right now. I feel so grouchy listening to them scream. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's quite late for them to be doing this. Usually it happens around 4, but now you can possibly hear what happens almost every day. They just keep running up and down the metal ramps outside my building, shouting and screaming of joy, the joy that I don't have. So yes, maybe it's just my bitter, sad, aged, disabled soul. But maybe kids are just annoying. Wow, is that really Aaron? Hi, Aaron. I like your Memo photo. That's cute. Yeah, I deal with this shit every day, and then leaf blowers twice a day. I'm really proud of myself that I haven't killed someone yet. Because old me, the me that still had a mom, would have been screaming into a closet given this amount of noise. And so, is this me being grouchy, or is this actually just triggering my possibly autism sensitivity? I don't know. But either way, I don't like it. So this is it though, this is life. We just keep dealing with shit we don't like. And then we figure out how to be our best selves, even though a lot of shit that we don't like keeps happening. So, yes. If you keep experiencing loss at a certain point, most things don't really affect you that much anymore. I feel like these days I still have stress and anxiety, but I'm so burnt out. Like, my body's tapped out. My mental health is like done. So I've reached that point where it's just like not registering anymore. But obviously my body's not doing any better. So I don't think I should be feeling as sick as I do, but it seems like my body keeps feeling worse, which is surprising, honestly. I was hoping that after Grandma passed away, I would kind of bounce back health-wise, but it seems like I kind of keep slipping further into pain. So we'll just have to give it a few more months and see if things get better. But yeah, I'm not enthused. All right, our cabbage stump is going in. I'm going to chop some scallions for the soup, our lovely new scallions. I'm gonna pick out the worst looking ones so that they get used first. Because if I don't use them now, they'll get slimy and then they'll make everyone else slimy. So let's not do that. One of my favorite things to think about lately has been theory of mind, which these kids just reminded me of. Because I keep thinking, well, what could be so fun about running down metal ramps and screaming? But it is fun, because I'm not them, and so I don't think like them, and I don't behave like them, but it's fun for them, which is why they're doing it, obviously. And I think back to when I was a kid, and my parents bought this leather couch that I still have the cushions of that Memo has been tearing up with his nails because he refuses to let me cut them. How my parents thought it was a really expensive couch and I shouldn't jump on it. So when I was a kid, I really wanted to do a running sprint to jump on that couch. And they wouldn't let me do it, and I was so upset, you know? But now that I'm older, I don't want to jump on a couch anymore. So that's done, you know? It's not what I like or enjoy anymore. So a lot of things, even you change through the years. What you like to eat, what you like to do, how you like to think, what you like to believe. So of course other people can't think like you do. And so I think a lot of my anger has been thinking, well, why aren't other people seeing it? It's because they literally don't have the same eyeball or brain that you do. Talking to myself, of course. Lecturing you in order to lecture myself, as usual. Any suggestions on what to put in my soup besides vegetables? We have scallions. I'm gonna cut up some bok choy. We got some cabbage butts in there. What else would you like to see? I don't think truffle is gonna work well in this variation. And apparently, theory of mind is really much weaker for certain people, including autistic people. So if I am autistic, that might explain why I was so frustrated. I still am, but I now recognize it, so it's easier to like talk myself down from the frustration. But it might explain in part why I was so frustrated when I was younger. Ooh, lentils. Okay. Well, I have red lentils. They're just kind of gonna melt into the soup. I highly recommend Googling it because Wikipedia has a great explanation and very extensive info on it. But theory of mind is basically a theory that states that different people have different minds. So having a good, clear sense of theory of mind means that you recognize that you and I don't think alike. So you're going to have different views, and you're going to have different experiences and interpretations of your experiences than I would. Even if I had the same exact experience, I wouldn't have the same exact experience, just because theory of mind means that I am aware of the fact that you don't perceive things the same way that I do. And so I think I spent a long time in my life thinking that everyone thinks the same way. And it made me really self-righteous and annoying and aggravating to be around, because I kept getting frustrated or angry or upset and worked up over why other people just weren't behaving the way I want them to, because the way that I wanted them to behave was the way that I thought everyone should behave, because I behave this way, I think this way, and it wasn't even that conscious. It was just like a given in my brain that I behave this way, everyone behaves this way. It didn't even occur to me that, like, actually people don't think the way that you do. And I have to give thanks to the sadistic gods, algorithmic gods of Hinge, for sending me men to make me realize this, that, like, they don't live life the same way as you. Also a genocide. I mean, the genocide really just laid bare a lot of things. I know I keep bringing it up, but it is still ongoing. It has been ongoing for decades, and it will continue, I guess. But yeah, how can people? I just deleted a comment yesterday on my video where I got stopped in Grand Central by police from entering the station because I had a Palestinian flag. I just deleted a comment yesterday that said, like, oh yeah, June has always been like a violent anti-Semitic. But I mean, clearly Zionists think that I'm an evil person, right? Because they believe a very different reality than I do, and they see a very different logic than the logic that I have. And so Zionism and the genocide in Palestine is like the clearest example of theory of mind. For the record, I have very lovely Jewish friends. Who are very kind people and who also don't support the genocide in Palestine. So are my Jewish friends also violently anti-Semitic? Yes, I guess so. Make it make sense, y'all. Yes. Mountain Dew 9, what a lovely name. Throwback. I think when something radically challenges your worldview, it's easier if you just dismiss them. Yes, and not only dismiss them, but kill them, both metaphorically and literally. Because having no sense of theory of mind will make you feel attacked all the time when the world doesn't fit into what you think it should fit into. When you identify with your brain totally and wholly, and when you don't see any other way that might be real and true outside of that particular brain that you inhabit, it makes you constantly be affronted with the possibility that, like, you don't exist in a way. And so in order to fight for your survival and existence on that psychological level, you have to defeat your enemies. And that, I think that's why everyone likes to argue with each other politically, because we all feel attacked. We all feel insecure. We all feel like we have to be the right ones in order for us to, like, exist in a lot of ways. So when you have weak theories of minds, when you have immature minds, I guess, you have a lot of fighting over things, not actual fighting, but just like constant verbal aggression. That don't really take you anywhere. We will still keep having this, like, left versus right politics that don't get us anywhere. Guys, I'm not gonna do lentils today because they're gonna make me bloat, and I'm already on my period, so I'm already really uncomfortable. So what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna add a couple of dumplings that I originally bought for Grandma, but I think it would be really lovely to eat them now together. Also, when I was at H-Mart, I found this. Oh, let me turn the camera around so you can see. This. In a non-mirrored way. I'm just checking for my framing. So if you want to Google this, Aaron Googled it for me because I was video chatting him while I was browsing. This is all in Korean, but it's a product of China. It comes from China. I think it's used in Chinese medicine, but I think maybe Koreans use it like culinarily because it looks like they're serving it as a dish. But Aaron looked it up for me and he was like, you shouldn't exceed 50 grams per day of this. I have no idea what this is. I saw it. It's not cheap either. This is 8 ounces. I believe this was like $8 or $9, so it's $1 an ounce. 50 grams is approximately 2 ounces, so a quarter of this package, which makes sense because this package on the back says 4 servings per container. But yeah, maybe I should throw one of these in our soup. And maybe I should throw a couple of jujubes in my soup. And then we can make this into like a hybrid medicinal Chinese soup. H-Mart is, depending on where you live, probably in America considered a specialty store. It's filled with Korean and East Asian ingredients. So I really love going there. If I feel strong enough to take a walk, I go to the one in Long Island City. Really fun place to go on dates, by the way, for me at least, because in order to date me, you have to love browsing grocery stores, and I get to see first if people are into the idea of meeting up at a grocery store for a date, what they gravitate towards in the store, if they spend more time looking at the product or talking to me. I think it's just a really fascinating ecosystem to observe someone else and interact with them in. And it's like a huge store that is very, very rarely crowded. So, fun. I'm gonna add 5 jujubes because 4 is bad luck in Chinese. 3 is probably just right, but I wanted 5, so I grabbed 5, so now I don't want to put the other 2 back. Alright. I believe this is the Aaron that you're used to seeing. I don't know if he's still here, but he was here in chat. And I believe it to be the Aaron that we're used to seeing because he literally just used a photo of Memo that I took as his profile picture. So. I gave it a rinse. I usually don't, but I think this move would make my mom proud. She was always so skeptical about the cleanliness of these dates. That probably came out of somewhere in China, maybe even Tibet. Xinjiang. Maybe these are Xinjiang slave labor dates. There, for all the Zionists who say that I don't call out China's problematic human rights violations, yeah, China does a lot of shady shit. That's why my parents aren't there anymore. Are you happy now? Okay. Alright. So I probably should have defrosted this, but I had no foresight, no plans for this live. It's so weird because I don't know what you're seeing, so I have to look back at my computer screen. I'm framed pretty well. Okay. Well, they look like carrots and parsnips. Cute. All right, we can weigh out. Let me turn you around. 50 grams. Was it 50 or 30? He might have said 30. Yeah, that's good. 32 ounces. 32 grams, rather. You might die if you eat 32 ounces of this. It might not also be very tasty. Those are Chinese dates, also known as jujubes. They do not taste the same as Middle Eastern dates at all. Yes, I do hope that Aaron is doing better than me. I hope that everyone is doing better than me, although realistically speaking, I know I'm luckier than a lot of people, but yeah, this health thing is quite devastating. I actually had a few minutes today where I was trying to like decide if I wanted to cry or not, because I felt really shit, but then I was like, I don't think I have energy to cry, so we didn't cry. Since it's frozen, I'm not gonna chip my nice Japanese knife on this. I have a high carbon knife, it's very brittle, so I shouldn't chop anything hardy, meaning frozen or bony. So I'm just gonna drop those in whole, and then we're gonna wait for that to cook. We're gonna wait for the dates to bloat up a little bit. Let me take you to the scene of the crime. We're gonna wait for the dates to kind of unwrinkle, unshrivel themselves, and rehydrate. And then we're gonna wait for these little things that I don't know how to pronounce to warm up and thaw and get tender. And then we'll drop in some dumplings. I'm gonna add a little bit of mom's soybean paste. That might be too much. This paste is very powerful. All right, just that little bit for salt. Is this backwards? Yes, it is. All right, let's switch you around so I can introduce the dumplings that I fed Grandma for the last few months of her life. Hello. Pork and leek dumplings. I originally bought this because it was on sale. 3 bags for $10, I think. And she seemed to like it. Even though it tastes a little bit sweet, I like it. I was kind of surprised that she liked it, but she loves leek stuff, so she seemed to tolerate this quite well. And the other kind of dumpling that she never got to taste, I managed to give away 2 bags of it, and then I just finished the open bag. So yeah, these dumplings are kind of like emotionally fraught for me. So I've just been like finding the strength within me to finish them. I had a little bit of like guilt thinking back to how I still just bought the cheapest dumplings possible for my dying grandmother. But she liked them, right? What does it matter? But I think it matters because I keep reflecting on like what that means for me as a person. But hey, all guilt is good guilt because it makes you think about it. Makes you reflect on yourself. Hi, Daisuke. Wow, the group chat is here. It's so funny. I was just talking with Daisuke about Theory of Mind today in our group chat. H stands for Hangu, I think, which is that how Koreans say Korea? I think. Because in Chinese, the name for Korea, South Korea, is... wait. Where do I know this from? Hanguo is a Hanguo. Aaron, can you... Anyone who speaks Chinese, can you fact check me? Is a Hanguo. So I think that's where the H comes from. Oh, okay. Not that. Never mind. Daisuke looked it up. Thanks, ChatGPT. All right. I actually don't know. Maybe I should have looked this up better. How long am I supposed to cook those things? All right, guys. I should Google this shit. I should Google this before eating it. Let's all check out this knowledge together. Codonopsis lanceolata. Also known as todok. It's a flowering plant native to East Asia, so China, Japan, Korea, Russian Far East. It is a variety of bonnet bellflower, and I also don't know what that is. It's a hardy perennial climber that grows up to 4.5 meters tall. It has bell-shaped flowers that are purple inside. Dun 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 dun. The plant is grown commercially in Honsong County in Gangwon Province, South Korea, where it is an important part of the local agriculture. Many South Koreans also grow a small amount in personal gardens. Culinary uses. This is all from Wikipedia, by the way. The roots are used in Korean cuisine, eaten both fresh and cooked. The plant's roots have been described as having a similar texture to celery root, though the flavor is different. You can serve it grilled, marinated in gochujang as a vegetarian main dish, or it can be pan-fried as jang, pickled as kimchi, or used in fusion dishes such as salads. Medicinal. It is used in Korean and Chinese traditional medicine due to having varying concentrations of polyacetylines, phenylpropanoids, alkaloids, triterpenoids, and polysaccharides in the plant's roots. They have been used to treat bronchitis, asthma, cough, tuberculosis, dyspepsia, I have no idea what that is, and psychoneuroses. All right. Treat my psychoneurosis. Oh, dyspepsia is just indigestion. Got it. It is also thought to have anti-cancer properties. Well, hey, if it's going to treat my psychoneurosis. Great. Lovely. I'll add in the dumplings now while I still have enough liquid to cook them in, because it is quickly evaporating off my stock. I'll set a timer for 10 minutes. And those dumplings will be semi-steamed. Aaron, are you on a delay or are you I asked that question like 10 minutes ago. Maybe 7, maybe 5, I don't know. Okay. Cozy pockets of guilt, yum. Indeed. Oh, I went to take a walk with my friend Samira, and she bought some pure frozen calamansi. I'm sorry, it's backwards, but it says Manila Gold Pure Calamansi. And I guess if you're Filipino and you're looking for calamansi, next best thing to fresh, she says these are it. I once bought a bottle of calamansi concentrate, but it was just so tart and like didn't really taste like calamansi. But she says that these, I don't think my smell is good anymore, but she said she smelled them even through the package. She said that these are the closest things she's ever come to, so you can check them out. We got these from a Chinese supermarket, so if you just go to like an Asian supermarket in the freezer aisle, they might have some calamansi. I told her I could maybe make a dessert with it. Maybe if I made like a cake one day and made a calamansi frosting icing, that could be good. Okay. I might eat this mango because it's really soft, so it might be going bad. But otherwise, I'm just gonna sit here for a little bit because I do not have energy. Calamansi is it looks like a tiny lemon lime. It looks like a lime on the outside. It's green like a lime. When you cut it open, it looks like a tangerine. It looks orangey. And it has some seeds in it too, the way that lemons do. And it just has this extremely exquisite, citrusy, sweet, and tart flavor that is used in a lot of Filipino sauces and dishes. Mango in February. Mango all year round in a globalized economy. I now prep mango in a very different way than Mom used to. She used to slice off the 2 fleshy bits and then score it and then just pop it out for me to eat, but I like to peel it now. Oh wow, gorgeous color on the outside though. I spent like $4 buying these mangoes at the grocery store last week, and they were brown and disgusting inside. And in a past life, I would have fucking taken my butt back to that grocery store and asked for my $4 back, but in this life, I just kind of cried inside and put it in the compost. That's how tired and done I've become, guys. I surrender. I've been fully broken by life. And honestly, I'm grateful for it. Because that means the struggle is over. I don't even have the energy to cry now. I just cry inside. I've reserved that energy so that I can still make food for myself. Not bad. Pretty good. Yeah, really sweet. Nice. It doesn't have that mango fragrance that I love, so maybe it's a little bit out of season. I don't know, but I started eating mango about 3 times a week because 1, it's delicious, 2, it seems available, although it's very hit and miss in terms of being brown and rotten inside. But 3, because I saw on an Instagram reel, I think, a month ago, or maybe it was a Reddit thread. I don't know. My life has just been too much on the internet. I can't remember exactly the source now, but somebody said that eating mangoes clears up their skin. A princess is in the living room. I think he's sleeping. We can go check him out. So I've been eating it, and I do feel like my hormonal breakouts, you know, the pimples that you get before your period comes, have not been as bad since I started eating mangoes. So your mileage may vary, but it's delicious. So if it takes away your acne, that's an added bonus, right? Let me finish my mango seed and then we can go harass Memo. Tamara, I don't know how to say your name properly, but I started my day by eating 4 butter cookies that Aaron got for me. So if you consider that healthy, then yes. I think I mainly eat healthy on these lives because I tend to go live when I have cooking to show you. And usually when you cook, it tends to be healthier than buying processed food. But that doesn't mean I'm not eating this in my spare time. You just don't see it. Yeah, my smoothies have been keeping me very regular. I actually didn't have my smoothies for the last 2 days, and maybe that's why I didn't poop yesterday, guys. Eat your fruits and veggies. I finally finished my $2.99 yogurts that I bought before the new year. So unfortunately I don't have yogurt to eat with this mango now, but that would have been a delicious pairing. Alright guys. We're about to hit the 10-minute mark on our dumplings. I'm going to finish the seed. I'm going to wash the knife so it doesn't rust. And then we'll check out Memo. Yeah, Fred does not miss me. Fred totally didn't want me. When I took care of Fred after Aaron was traveling for 10 days, Fred hated being here. I don't know if it was me and the apartment or or both, but like, Oh, she's talking about whether or not Fred misses Yoshi. Yoshi is a boy, though. I'm so egotistical, I think everyone's talking about me, even when they're talking shit. That's what it means being insecure, guys. All right. Is it necessary? Is it natural to assume all cats are girls? I'm curious. Do you automatically assume all cats are girls? Alright, we're just gonna let this go because there's not enough liquid to submerge the dumplings, and I don't want to be poisoning myself with some mystery pork meat. And that'll give us more time to break down this mysterious root substance. It's definitely defrosted now, but it's very fibrous. I'm gonna chop it up with my wooden spoon and hopefully help it cook a little bit faster. And then I'll take you to see Princess, okay? Alright, this is gonna be a much more balanced meal. I was low-key just gonna eat grapes and cheese. I pulled out the grapes and I have cheese. I might still eat grapes and cheese. Princess, are you here? Sorry guys, I gotta turn on the light. Oh, he went to the corner. Hi, Princess. You were on the bed when I left. You don't want to be on the bed anymore? We've come to see you, Princess. I mean, he could be cold, but I don't think the room is particularly cold right now, and he was on the bed napping with me for like a solid 2 hours. So maybe because I'm not on the bed anymore, he's not here. Here, let's try something. Sometimes if I lie on the bed, he'll come. Hi, Princess. Hi, baby. Oh, cutie. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry I had to go eat and speak to internet strangers who are definitely not real. And yes, I am a crazy woman who just talks to the air for hours at a time. Do you like kisses? Well, I guess we're not eating dinner. Hi. Do you like this new pillow valley that I set up for you. So following your advice yesterday, I started leaning the mattress up against the wall during the daytime for a few hours just to let it have some air circulation. So I get to rearrange the bedding every day now. So I made this little divot between the two pillows for him to kind of hide in between. Napping in the Valley of Pillows. That's a good title for a cat soap opera. Somebody please go write that fan fiction. Yeah. Memo, do you want to tell everyone why you hide every time I have friends visiting? They're really nice people, and they really want to get to know you. And they're in that little thingy-majiggy right there right now. Do you want to meet them too one day, maybe? Maybe they can bring you lots of treats. In fact, they already have. You just haven't seen them because you always hide. They bring you so many treats. In fact, the 2 treats that Nez and Aaron gave you might have saved you that day when you weren't eating anything for a week. Remember that? The same 2 treats that I ordered $100 worth of after, and then you stopped eating 2 weeks after? So now I have 78 treats left that you won't touch. Yeah. Don't bite me, please. Yes. Well, my ovaries are like, can we just stay here now? So we're just gonna stay here for a few more minutes. Oh God. You would think that we would have figured out how to not have sucky periods every month, huh? We have AI, but we can't figure out female pain. Maybe we just want people to suffer. You think that's it? You think our society has been engineered to make people suffer perpetually so that when they get abused, they won't think too much of it because they're already so broken? Maybe that's it, Memo. What a sick, sick world we live in. But yes, with long COVID, I've been fully able to transform into the best, most crazy cat lady ever. That's been my accomplishment in the past year, is completing this transformation. Yes. No bite. No bite, please. Okay. I will pet, and then you can tell me with a meow, maybe, or a hiss, even, that you don't like it. But no bite, please. And no scratch either. Because when you don't let me cut your nails, you draw blood. And I could get infections. And I'm really sick. You want to kill me? Hi. Oh, nice. Yes, up close and personal. Right here. Nice job, babes. This is my happiest self, you know? Just being able to stay home with my cat, talking to my phone. In postmodern insanity era, this is like the best life. The best life that I could have hoped for. He's really just showing you guys everything now. Hi, babes. You look beautiful. Everybody's admiring you now. Yeah. Oh, thank you. No bite. What did I say? No bite. I love you though. Are you enjoying your California king bedspread? Yeah. What a life of luxury we have, buddy. Okay, thank you. Thanks for letting me know with a little foot swap. He actually ate something today. We got like half a can of Fancy Feast. I really think he came back to life. I mean, you guys saw him when I went live for the first time when he was sick. But there was a day that he suddenly developed interest in catnip. I think he's a little camera shy. But it was so random because he's never shown interest in catnip before. And he had the time of his life rolling around in catnip that day. And then after the catnip, he started eating. So I think a few days after that, he kind of like started bouncing back and his poops turned solid again from diarrhea. I think the antibiotics worked. He was such a good boy about eating them too. I hid them in treats and he rejects those treats now, the same treats that he ate the pills in, but he ate those pills. So maybe he went on to his next life in his 9 lives. I've been saying that maybe he just leveled up. I don't know what life he's on. You know, licensing. Who needs licensing? Good for nothing licensing. I bought him the frisky soups. He ate them for a while and then he stopped. Yeah, he goes through this phase where I would buy him something, he would eat it, I would get excited, and then I would buy more of it, and then as soon as the restock gets delivered, he'll stop eating it. Which is how I ended up with a whole wall and a storage bin of cat food. It's because I always get so excited when he shows interest in a new food, and I just like jump to get more of it so that I don't run out. But then he stops eating it, and then I end up having to give it away to friends or strays, which is fine. But whatever he will eat, I'll keep buying. I've stopped ordering canned food from Chewy. One, because they inevitably showed up dented, some of the cans, and 2, because they only sell cans in multi-packs. So what I've been doing is just buying single cans from grocery stores. Yes, it's like 60 cents more expensive per can, but at least I won't have like a shit ton of cans just rotting away in my mind and my eyeball in my kitchen. So I don't know if you can hear that, but he's purring really hard. some of my best nights before Grandma died, and before I kind of like got sicker and more exhausted. He would just lie on my head and purr like this, and I would feel the purrs travel through my body, I mean in my head at least, where he is next to me. And I would get the sense that he's like trying to heal me, because cats purr to heal themselves too. Like their purring apparently occurs at such a frequency that it heals their bones or something. So sometimes I think he does this to like heal me. Thank you, my friend. My love. Thank you for healing me. So yeah. Here's my cat husband. Thank you, baby. Are we soulmates? You're so pretty. What a handsome man. So thanks to all of you and your support and advice, and I'm sure some of you prayed for him too, so thank you for that. We are coasting off of your love and care and thoughts. Pet snores are the cutest. I can't stand human snores, but pet snores, for some reason. Aaron says that he can't stand when people eat, the sounds that people make when they eat, but he loves videos where animals are eating. I think it's the same. And this is what I think about when I feel guilty. Bye, Memo. Thanks for sharing us. Thanks for sharing yourself with us. Love you. This is what I think about too when I feel guilty about why is it that I can take more care and time to love my cat than I could love my own grandmother. It's just easier. Love is more simple, I guess, when there's no words and no feelings. I mean, not no feelings, but you know, human feelings are so complicated. So, families are complicated. Oh gosh, our pot is so dry now. Turn off the heat. There's no liquid anymore, guys. It's like 2 tablespoons of liquid left. Great. It's definitely cooked. I'm gonna wash my hands, we'll eat. I'm curious. Obviously, we can't eat it right away because it's freaking hot. But I'm curious, has anyone felt like they've found their passion in life and what they're good at? I'm curious what your experience of that sort of self-discovery is how it came about, what you found. Meanwhile, I will eat my mango while we wait for that to cool off a little bit. It's actually it's like overcooked, but beautiful. What a fun dinner. Thanks for joining. Okay, this is like the sit, chill, and eat portion of the live. And I love everyone sharing now. Okay, first of all, that was a close call on the stove, but maybe that was Memo telling me to get the fuck out and back in the kitchen before I burned everything. I feel like that cat has something magical about him. I don't know what it is yet. Maybe this is just like my crazy toxoplasmosis cat lady brain thinking, but I keep feeling like there's something super interesting and magical about Memo. Do you mean can we make a living at it or just have found it? I just mean just have found it. But if you also were managing to somehow make a living out of it, amazing, right? That you're living the lottery dream, really. I don't think all of our callings and passions and all of our skills can be monetized successfully, especially in this like very cutthroat, mechanized world of reproduction. It's really, really hard, but it's possible. But it does feel kind of like a unicorn situation, a lottery situation of luck and just circumstances lining up. Finding a lot of things you don't like is the beginning of finding the thing that you do like. Process of elimination, especially in a world that is so ripe with possibility and options and stuff. Advocacy work for queer people. Okay, wow. That's intense. That sounds rough, especially now. I hope you have also found other people who can do that with you, so that you keep each other strong and tight. If toxoplasmosis brings you comfort, I see no harm. Cheers. Cheers, Gary. Well, Val, to your turkey broth burning up, I'm just thankful that nothing worse happened, because those can end up very bad, beyond just a ruined soup. So, lesson learned. I also have to be very careful now, especially with my memory lapses now, to not leave anything on the stove without setting that timer. And I still do it with teas sometimes. I'm thankful because the teas, I always fill up the pot with a lot of water, so I usually catch it. If I missed it, I usually catch it when there's like this little liquid left, but it still happens. It's very dangerous to have a faulty brain and a forgetful one. So yeah, set up timers, alarms, whatever you need. You guys were talking about it at the coffee shop yesterday. The coffee hang looked really fun and special, and I'm glad that everybody enjoyed the coffee. All my friends hanging out, and I'm just at home on my cell phone looking at them hanging out. One day I'll be better. My earrings are from eBay. It's the only place that I've been buying jewelry in the last decade. Sometimes maybe they'll come from thrift stores, but most of the time from eBay. When I feel really depressed, my favorite retail therapy is to bid on sterling silver jewelry. And when I go through slumps, I can usually spend anywhere from, I would say, $80 to maybe $100 in a month just bidding on jewelry. I really like finding them. As an autistic person, Lupo Griff says, what I'm good at is not a passion or career. What I'm good at is not a passion. Career aren't the same. I'm good at IT project management, but my passion is making the world better where I tread. Maybe IT project management and making the world better where you tread is possible in some combo, but maybe not. But I'm glad you found both of what you're good at and where your passion lies. Things happen. Just, you know, after my mom died and like everything else that followed, I'm just at that point where I'm just like, oh, I'm alive. Cool. I get to do other things today now that I'm alive. When things don't go according to plan or fall through, like I let myself cry, I let myself feel the waves of various levels of grief, and then I just accept it. And I kind of like do that internal family systems therapy thing where I kind of bring out my inner parent to soothe my inner child who's like sobbing about something that upset her, and it's like a internal coaching basically, self-soothing. Nothing is that important. One of my fondest memories with my mom is maybe when I was in like high school or college. I would come back for like summer or winter break, and sometimes my mom and I would watch dramas, Asian dramas together, and I remember there was one Chinese show. It was like a comedy, and this main character would always go, 这不重要. And he would say it in like a very hilarious way, and my mom and I would laugh. 这不重要 means this is not significant. And so, for some reason, this memory has like started to come back to me in the last 2 months, which I'm grateful for. But yeah, this isn't important or significant sometimes. It feels that way because there's a lot of ego that is like bound up in our day-to-day constructions of priorities. Identifying what's important in order for survival, and over time it calcifies and solidifies into shackles of a sort, right? So even if I am shackled, I still have to kind of like laugh about it and remind myself, 这不重要. My mom and I had a lot of fights. So I think remembering the moments where we like shared laughter is quite amazing. Damn. Tamara, you have had a lot of house issues. I'm so sorry to hear. Shit. Leaving a cardboard box on a hot stovetop honestly sounds like something I would do. So I thank you for sharing that. I will remind myself to never leave anything that is incineratable on the stovetop. I'm still guilty of it. You'll see me leave like napkins on the stovetop sometimes. Bad habits. Bad habits are okay when you're young and able, and then when you get old, that's how you become grandma. So I'm also thankful for grandma teaching me through living and real life examples of how certain habits become very, very troublesome and difficult when you're older and incapable of taking care of yourself. Because then you leave others to clean up after your own habits, which is difficult. It's just difficult. Hope your stomach bug feels better soon, Charlie. Yes, the cutting board is evidence. It's happened. The stovetop is not a place for multitasking and multi-purpose. I have to remind myself every day. I still don't listen to that. It is a designer cutting board now. And yeah, that is a really sad story tomorrow. Woof. Everyone else okay in the building? I hope everybody had insurance. Not that they cover anything these days. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands again, and then I'm gonna check up on the sauerkraut. Apparently you're supposed to kind of like massage them a little bit more, just to kind of encourage the juicing process along. So I'm gonna wash my hands. We'll see if we need to work up the cabbage. Night, Katie. Not very juicy. Not very juicy at all. So some recipes say that you might need to add like a saltwater solution. But maybe if I just beat it up a little bit. I love ice cream, but I don't ever buy it. Very rarely. The last time I bought ice cream, I bought it from Trader Joe's for someone I was dating, because he always seemed to like to eat ice cream, and there's no ice cream shops around here. I usually like to if I eat ice cream, I like to go to an ice cream shop and spend the money because ice creams from the grocery store don't taste great. I still can, you know, do a little bit of Haagen-Dazs, but also I find that ice cream is a little depressing to eat on my own at home, unless it's with a friend. I don't know why. I would almost just rather eat like really rich yogurt with fruit. But I feel like ice cream is kind of like cocktails for me. It's like a social treat. Oh yeah, I just had to like beat it up a little bit. I would rather eat cake alone than with friends sometimes, unless we're sharing like a really expensive cake. If it's expensive, I want to share it with others. But if it's like cake I've made, I would rather eat it alone. I'm sure if I went through the trouble of making my own ice cream, which I still remember there was a viewer, I don't know if she's still watching or not, but if you are, thank you. She gifted me, she went through a lot of trouble to like gift me an ice cream maker. And I still haven't really made ice cream because my freezer doesn't seem to freeze the insert well enough. It's an old fridge when I moved in, I never replaced it. So maybe one day I'll try to make ice cream again. You got a bottle of soy sauce formulated specific for ice cream. To top ice cream with or to make soy sauce flavored ice cream with? Also, did you ask for that customization? Or is that a product for ice cream? So fascinating. Okay, interesting. Soy sauce ice cream is a thing in Japan. I think Erin and I had it. It was fine. It almost tasted like salted caramel, honestly. So, you know, it's not as strange as it might sound. But interesting. It's like instead of your chocolate caramel drizzle, you get a little bit of soy sauce for your ice cream. Thanks for trying your soy sauce ice cream now. What ice cream are you eating with, though? I'm just cooking me cabbage. I could get into this. If this batch of sauerkraut doesn't turn out horrifically spoiled, and it actually works like this, I could get into hand massaging cabbage because this is giving me sourdough bread vibes, which I love. But unfortunately, sourdough dough makes my eczema flare, which is why I don't really make sourdough bread anymore because my hands just like break out. So I think that's from years of working in restaurants and in pastry specifically. I think I developed like a flour sensitivity. But this is fun. I really like playing with food barehanded. So this would be amazing. Vanilla classic. Okay. All right. So I'll wash my hands. I'll slap that plate back on for now. And then I'm gonna eat my dinner. Very salty cabbage. Actually, a little bit of salty cabbage topping. Look at this. Look at our trash dinner. Oh, that's what I forgot. I need to add caraway seeds to this. I want to do that. So lovely. I'm a little caraway freak. So on my next massage round, I'm gonna work that in. And then I think I'm also going to throw some coriander seed in there too. Yay. All right, now I'm happy. Cheers, y'all. Happy dinner. Also, vitamin check. I actually have not eaten my vitamins yet today because I've just been out all day on bed, passed out. Man. If you do eat Chinese jujubes, here's your disclaimer. There is a pit inside each one. Do not break your tooth by chomping down on the whole thing. Okay. Vitamin check. We got our fish oil. We have our magnesium. We have 2 zincs. Just trying to zinc it up. We have our NAC, we have our COQ10, and our vitamin D. I've been told to not take vitamin D at night because it keeps you awake, but I would rather take it than not take it. And I also napped, so chances are I won't sleep well tonight anyway because I napped. But we're gonna wash it down with some Earl Grey tea, which is gonna keep us up even more. All right, cheers, y'all. Oh man, lavender ice cream is so good. I just read your comment about lavender ice cream. Salt and Straw. The first time I ever went to Salt and Straw on the West Coast, I had this double scoop of lavender ice cream with their double chocolate brownie together. That flavor combination got stuck in my head forever. Lavender and chocolate together and cream. So good. It was a honey lavender ice cream with a double chocolate brownie scoop. And then I came back and like a couple of years later, I made my gluten-free chocolate chip cookie with some ground up lavender in there. Good stuff. Okay, I'm gonna try to give you a taste test of this mysterious root here. It's soaked up the chicken flavor very well from the stock. It's kind of like rich and oily and umami now. The texture is like if you took a parsnip, froze it, and then defrosted it. It's kind of like limpy and fibrous. I'm sure if I pressure cooked this, it would get a lot creamier, but in the 20 minutes that we were cooking it just now, it's still quite fibrous. Flavor is imperceptible for the most part. It's overwhelmed by all the seasonings and the chicken stock. But the texture is like not great, honestly, for me. But if it's medicine, not bad. It's really expensive though. I feel like I would only eat it as a medicine and not as a food ingredient. Property taxes? Gosh. Don't remind me. I remember having to, like, research thoroughly if my mom had already paid property taxes for the year that she died. She did. Thanks, Mom. One of the, like, double-edged emotions that I often feel in my grief now is thinking about how my mom, basically did everything she could to, like, plan ahead outside of, you know, actually taking care of herself. And I recall her telling me this memory many times when I don't even remember it. And apparently we were living in Japan at the time, so I was like 3 or 4, very young. And apparently I had a nightmare where my mom, like, disappeared or died in the dream, and so they kicked me out of school because nobody paid the tuition, and I basically apparently woke up crying and sobbing and telling her that she can't die until she pays my school tuition. So when I think about that memory sometimes now, I just, like, smile, cry a little bit, and I say a thank you to my mom for having paid all my tuition and for giving me a place to live, and you know, leaving me some fuck you money so that I didn't have to be stuck in a corporate world that was clearly not the environment for me. But it's weird. I think as human beings, we like to ascribe meaning to things because our brains just kind of need that component of meaning making. So I find myself remembering all these bits of connection of, like, whoa, maybe Mom waited until she paid off all of my tuition and my major life expenses and then left. So she heard my 3-year-old cries for help and fears and anxieties, and she said, yes, I will pay your school tuition, and then I will die. But yeah, when my mom died, my first project was to sell that house. That's where the memory came up, because I hated that house. I hated home ownership. I don't think she enjoyed it either. I think she was probably really fucking miserable in that house, and she should have gotten out. She should have done a lot of things for herself that she just, for whatever reason, I think maybe she was motivated by thinking that if she held on to that house that she would be able to sell it one day as an investment. But that killed her. I think staying in places that you know aren't for you slowly will kill you. So I think about that very frequently now. If a place is meant for me to be in. Because Mom's gone, I think I've almost, like, inherited this feeling of a mixture of responsibility and also desire and, like, hopeful symbolism that Mom somehow lives on in me to do better for myself and therefore for the both of us, because she lives on in me, and to avoid the the pitfalls and the sinkholes that she found herself trapped in. So yeah, home ownership I feel like is a lie. I live in a co-op now, and I feel like co-ops are such a lie. You don't own the real estate. I don't actually own this apartment or the land that it sits on. I own a share of the building, which is like, what? The stuff that humans have made up, mind-boggling. I can't really find the reason behind any of the ways that we've categorized and calculated and set things up. It's just so nonsensical. My dad lives in Philly. I think real estate is way cheaper there. I don't know, I'll have to ask him about his experience, but I think it's cheaper depending on where you settle to own than to rent. And I think as Chinese immigrants, there's a strong desire to own a place of your own. After my mom died, I asked my uncle what he thinks my mom would have wanted me to do with the money that she left behind. And he said, I think she wanted you to have your own place. Like, my mom was constantly worried because I was working minimum wage jobs for a long time. And I was always like rooming with strangers and being, stuck in miserable situations. And then me and Aaron were living in a very small apartment, much smaller than the one that I currently inhabit by myself. Honestly feels like a waste of space being on my own in here, but I guess if I'm gonna be stuck indoors, like, this is my world now, indoors. So, but yeah, I think my parents have always felt a sense of security in the concept of home ownership, and I have never wanted that responsibility. But things just line up sometimes, Grandma settled into that facility nearby, and then almost a year in, I found this place with an agent I had been in communications with for almost a year. And then it was so close to Grandma, and the layout, as you can see, the kitchen layout was so similar to the Woodside one, and I was still, at the time of applying for this apartment, I was still employed with Delish, so I was still keeping an eye out for how is the kitchen space, how will I shoot in here, how is the lighting, and this one just seemed to work out so serendipitously. But unfortunately, by the time I moved into this unit, I had already gotten fired by Delish, like just a month before moving in. So, and now Grandma's gone, and I'm still not really thinking about the future because I'm sick and I don't have the energy or even the imagination to think about what I would do if I were to be able to be more able-bodied to move around and go places. But yeah, I don't feel particularly tied to this place emotionally, or even practically anymore, because my main function for moving here was to find a bigger space to shoot for my food media job in, which I don't have that anymore, and also to be able to visit my grandmother with relative, proximity and ease, which she's not here anymore. And so pieces of my life kind of just like keep falling apart, which is not a bad thing. I know it sounds distressing and it does feel sad, but I'm almost excited to see the deconstruction of the facets of my life, because taking away the pillars of my routines means that I get to rebuild something if I want to, or simply reconsider what kinds of reconstruction I might be into. So there is a sort of freedom that comes with loss, and so I hope I'll be able to explore that freedom more in the coming days and months and years. Um, I got fired from Delish. The top line of why I got fired for Delish, like the real reason, is because I was not being a good worker bee anymore. The context for that breaks down into 3 specific reasons for why I believe they fired me. But the reason that they gave me was that I was insubordinate. They literally, HR told me that I was insubordinate. Insubordination was my cause for termination. As to why I was insubordinate, it breaks down into 3 facets. One, I had been one of the most vocal workers for our labor union, and because of the success of Budget Eats, and because I was maybe one of the few front-facing people at Hearst, the parent company of Delish, who had an audience on social media, I think my outspokenness for the labor union, for 500 workers at Hearst, it was like just bad PR for them. The second reason came down to team dynamics. Right before my mom passed away, we hired a new food director. He was very experienced in being a culinary director at culinary schools before, but no experience in food media. A month after he was hired, my mom died, and so I took bereavement, and then after I came back from bereavement, I was still emotionally numb. So it wasn't until like I had been back to work for 4 or 5 months that I realized, oh, I don't really understand why he's my manager, because he doesn't seem to know what he's doing. So then I started asking him in our one-on-one meetings if we can switch up our meetings a little bit so that it has more structure and more clear directives, so that once we leave the meeting, we know what each person is responsible for and what the due dates are and what the objectives are. And I think he was maybe feeling already really pressurized from realizing that he wasn't experienced enough for this role, and also feeling like, who the fuck are you to tell me how to run meetings? He's very old school, so he's kind of like yes chef personality, where what he says we do, and I don't question it, and that's certainly not the way that I want to work, and it's not the way that I wanted to get myself used to working, especially after my mom died. I just had no endurance or ability to stomach that kind of nonsense, and so I think HR disciplined me for bullying my manager. That was a term that they used, and they tried to tell me that I was also being racist towards him, because I brought up a slide from a presentation from a union meeting where we were talking about how like characteristics of white supremacy shows up in the corporate workplace, and I was just like, the way we overwork, the way we burn out, the way we follow directives without listening to the workers is contributing towards burnout. And apparently they used that slide on white supremacy in the workplace to say that I was being racist towards my black manager, which is hilarious. Okay. The third reason is after being run through these HR disciplinary meetings, decided that I no longer wanted to continue developing this TV show that they wanted me to do. Literally less than a month after I came back from bereavement, my boss asked me if I would want to develop a TV show. Because of the success of Budget Eats, they wanted to use that success to expand Delish's prominence on other platforms, and they had not been on TV before, and I think my boss really wanted to go on TV. And I literally told her, like, hey, I don't know, my mom just died, and I think Budget Eats is great on the YouTube platform, but I don't know if it's going to translate well to TV, and I just don't know if I have it in me. And she was like, I understand, but why don't you just hear them out? So I went into those meetings, and I was cooperating and being a good worker up until I started getting disciplined by HR, at which point I was like, I don't want to get further involved in any new Hearst initiatives, because I don't trust this company anymore, because they're not listening to me, and my, needs from my manager, and they're punishing me, and they're anti-union, and they're punishing me, and it doesn't make sense, and my mom just died, so I turned down the TV show. After I got disciplined by HR for bullying my manager, I turned down the TV show, and that was the insubordination firing reason, is that I turned down the TV show without consulting the proper people. And then I asked in my firing meeting with HR, who were the proper people to consult with? Because I did consult with the person who was my go-to person between Hearst and A&E. A&E was the production company, and A&E is also 50% owned by Hearst. And I said, you know, that person, that go-between person, told me that it was ultimately my decision, that I should take some time to think about it, but, you know, my decision is my decision. So I made my decision, and then I got fired for my decision. So yeah, that's a long explanation. But I think it was because I stopped being a good worker at the end. They couldn't squeeze any more capital out of me. I mean, that's the reason why any company fires you, is because you're not worth the cost they're putting in you anymore. And I think because after my mom died, I started taking less and less bullshit. I was creating more trouble for them, both in terms of the union and in terms of the inter-team dynamics, for it to be worth it for them anymore. And then when I declined the TV show, they definitely didn't have a use for me anymore. So why would they keep on a troublesome worker who wasn't going to do what they wanted me to do, right? It didn't make sense for them to keep me on. Yeah, the concept of bullying your manager was ridiculous. And in that meeting, I had a union representative with me, and that was what they brought up too. They were like, how do you exactly bully your manager? But they shut the union rep down too. They would not let the union rep get a word or a question in without like just completely shutting them down. So, I mean, Hearst was a toxic workplace. Hands down toxic workplace. We had a executive get basically fired / resigned due to like sexual harassment allegations. We've had the editor-in-chief of Cosmopolitan get accused of racism with no disciplinary action, like actual racism though, not just showing a slideshow of white supremacy characteristics in the workplace. But like actually telling her workers of color like how to dress and put their hair up and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I don't regret anything that I did. I think things happen for a reason. I think I'm much better off not in that environment anymore. I wasn't going to make my relationship with my manager any better. Clearly, they weren't going to cooperate with me. My boss promised to have a one-on-one follow-up meeting with me, and she claimed to not know that I was getting fired, but HR told me in my termination meeting that they told her the night before that I was going to get fired. They told me that they have already alerted my my boss, but then she proceeded to hold meetings with my former coworkers, crying, saying she had no choice, she didn't have any power. I call bullshit on that, you know. So I wasn't going to live my best life around a bunch of people like that. It's not who I wanted to be, and I think when you spend time around people that you don't like and you force yourself to survive in that environment, you will eventually become more and more like them. And I think I made a decision for myself when I was becoming troublesome for the team, that if they couldn't handle the feedback and the criticism that I was going to give them, then this wasn't a place that I should stay in anyway, because it's not who I wanted to be. I didn't want to become like them. And it was kind of the same decision that I made in leaving work in kitchens too. Is like, I don't want to be a chef. I don't want to own a restaurant. What am I doing here? You know, all I'm absorbing is passive aggression and like suppressed anger or sadness, and it was just like exhausting on the body and the mind. And it was just like the show wasn't gonna work for me. I knew it. Like, they made me sign a contract for the development of the idea, and it was like such an exhausting process just to sign that contract to develop the idea. It wasn't even the contract for shooting the show. And the contract was like going to give Hearst 50% of the development money, and I'm like, but nobody, why would Hearst get it? Like, I would rather, you know, my coworker who was working with me to brainstorm all the details, I would let her get it. Sure, give her 50% of the cut. Why is Hearst already owns 50% of A&E, so why is A&E paying me 50% and paying her? Like, none of it made sense, and what they were paying me for the development was bullshit. Like, because media is bullshit. It's actually industry standard, but they were offering me something like $1,750 to develop the show idea, and they would get to keep that show idea. No matter what happens to the show idea, no matter if we make it, if we shelve it, they would like keep the intellectual property rights for that. For $1,750. And I was just doing the calculations. I was like, every episode of Budget Eats earns tens of thousands of dollars in ad revenue in just a couple of months. It just didn't make sense to me, you know? So I would get dragged further into the drama of the media industry without getting proper compensation for my work and the stress that comes along with all of that, and dealing with people that I didn't want to deal with. Like, it wasn't checking out in my brain, and my gut was just like, yo, tap out now. Because I feel like once you step into media, you can get like trapped, you know? And I was already starting to feel trapped the moment I was like reading over that contract, and I had to drag in, there were like viewers who were offering friends who were lawyers, who would like give me some feedback on like contract stuff, and I was just like, why am I doing this? It's not even worth the money. And Mom's dead. Like, that was in the forefront of my mind, was like, Mom's dead. Mom's not even gonna be here to see this show. Like, if there was any reason for me to do that show, it would have been to make Mom proud and to make Mom happy, to let her know and let her see her daughter on TV. You know, like, I would have done it if she were alive, but she wasn't. So then the decision was just, do I want to do it? And I didn't. So that's it. That's it for today. I'm all out of thoughts and energy. I'm eating a trashy, delicious, nutritious dumpling soup. It's made with my chicken feet stock from yesterday. It has 5 Chinese jujube dates, and it has some scallions and bok choy and purple cabbage stumps, and it has 3 dumplings from the bag of dumplings that I bought for Grandma. Let's be honest, it was supposed to be soup, but when have you actually seen me successfully made soup that wasn't just like a watered stew? with like almost no juice. I feel like every time I try to make soup, we end up making some stoop, sludgy soup. Alright guys. Bye Zyro. Sorry. You're really annoying. I just can't put up with that in my feed. I hope you enjoy watching on silence. I have now disappeared you from my channel. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Sauerkraut is juicing. It's juicing. I'm going to chill, finish my dinner, I'll wash my dishes, wash my hands, and then I'm gonna massage this and sanitize a jar and pack it into a jar, and that'll be the end of tonight. Because we have already gone live for 2.5 hours. Jesus, I was planning this for, for like 90 minutes. I was trying to give Z a chance, you know? Gary was so cordial and diplomatic when Zyra signed on. We gave him a chance. We really did. But he showed no improvement in his trolling quality, and 3 times you're out, buddy. We appreciate your gentle modding, Gary. We adore your gentle modding. I am very blessed to have met all of you. What a special, quirky group. With so much life advice, too. And you might have saved my cat. Oh, there was no offending comment, Jonathan. It was just Z being really annoying. I don't need more annoyance. I'm already trying to not kill the kids running up and down the metal ramp for 20 minutes every day, you know? I don't have capacity for more annoyance components of my life. Yeah, once I mute someone, it blocks any of their comments from showing up. So unfortunately, he just got zapped out of existence. I tried, you know. I have some trolls that I really enjoy when they join the lives. They make it so comedic. But all Z's gotta do is to make a new account and come back and try harder. That's it. Hi Aaron, welcome back. Did you get to see Princess? You made your profile even more princess focused. Yeah, it's okay. All that you missed is me regaling the people with my dead mom memories and a review again of why I got fired from Delish. Oh, and I disappeared a really boring troll who kept denying he was a troll, but asked the stupidest questions and just like was low-key mean but wouldn't own up to being mean, but also wouldn't step up his trolling game, and I just got annoyed and I zapped him out. Guys, you have to spell Aaron correctly. You have no reason to misspell it now that his name is literally A-A-R-O-N. Yeah, he would just say shit like, yeah, what do you even do? What are you eating? Ew. Why would you eat that? Like, just stupid shit like that. And I was just tired of seeing it. Very delicious dinner. Thanks for cooking with me. Can you imagine if I had a dishwasher during budget eats? I would probably still not use it because it takes 2 hours to run the cycle and created too much background noise. I'm glad I'm not doing budget eats anymore. That's all I have to say to that. It was fun while it lasted. Over the summer, my boss Ethan, I like my current job. I think someone asked me that. It's a great place. The people are kind and supportive and everything you could dream of in a work environment. My boss recommended this audiobook version of a new translation of the Tao Te Ching, a pretty ancient Chinese text, and it was translated by Ken Liu, who I think is a science fiction author, and I got a free trial of Audible and I got to listen to that book about 3 or 4 times before my trial expired. And I think there was one section, I was actually, I think, just telling Aaron about this, there was one section about how it's like really in the way of the Tao to understand, to perceive once you've mastered something, to then let it go and retire, basically. And I think that was the right way to go with budget eats. I just got to a point where I was like, I don't have anything new to teach. I've shown you every single way you can fuck up food and mess with it and play with it. And you know, we'll just keep getting comments about how your grocery prices are ridiculously low. Where do you shop? My prices aren't like that. This isn't realistic. And then there would always be like 3 people who told me I look like a Korean celebrity man. And then there would be people hating on Aaron. But then people loved Aaron. Like in the last episode, people loved Aaron. People are funny, man. The internet is funny. Aaron, I don't read Chinese. Stop showing off. What is that first book you're talking about? Oh no! Yijing. Yes, China, the land of my people is really old. No, I didn't read Carly Lolly Music Substack about YouTube. Tell me more. I think Carla watches these live sometimes. I don't know if she still does, but she used to. She's really sweet. After my mom passed away, she invited me to help co-host her book launch event in Brooklyn, and that was like my first public event since mom died, and it was just really nice to not grieve for a day. So I think very fondly of Carla. Oh, the economics of YouTube. Okay, I'll look it up. I don't think Carla's problematic. I don't know. Everyone's problematic, guys. I technically got fired for being racist. What, you know, everything can be taken out of context. And yes, we're all shit people in someone's eyes. The Zionists hate me, and I'm okay with that. You really can't win with everyone, you know? Okay, so here's the thing about making statements. Statements are performative. That's what we have to understand. Sometimes standing in solidarity doesn't mean you make the loudest statement. And sometimes making statements will end your life in that aspect. Like, I made pretty public statements about how hers was a shit company and I got fired. She has kids. She has a family to raise. I don't. So, I mean, eventually she left BA. But, you know, it's not about making a statement about racism. It's about what are you doing to change the environment that enables and engenders racism. And sometimes you can't change it. You can't change it as one person, no matter how famous you are. And you will look fondly on a celebrity if they speak out. And that's great if they can speak out, but just because they don't speak out loud enough on a topic doesn't mean that they're a shit person. You know? How many celebrities didn't speak out about Palestine? How many celebrities still support Israel? And that's also why I've lost interest in famous people in general. Famous people being famous doesn't even mean that they have a conscience, so. Canceling is also performative, right? There was like maybe 5 years where canceling actually had material impact on people, but mostly everyday people who are not all that famous. Because famous people got canceled over and over again and they still had a livelihood. Why? It's because the systems that engender them and pay them and sustain them thrive off of all those inequalities. So at a certain point, you just have to go, are you actually doing anything to solve the problem, or are you just feeding into the problem and actually supporting its existence by thinking that saying something means you're doing something? Those are not the same things. But cancel culture made us believe that if we said the right things, we were doing the right things, but material impact is not that simple. Material impact requires dedication, persistence, continued endurance for the rest of your life. And not many people are ready to do that, which is fine. It's sad, but it's fine. Okay, let's play a game. We have this much cabbage. I can mostly get it in one fistful. Now we have to figure out which of my jars will fit it correctly, because we don't want any air gaps on top. We want the cabbage to be fully submerged in the liquid, so the smaller the container, the better. I I almost feel like the Bon Man could hold it. Do we think so? Yeah, Eddie thinks so. Let's microwave this with some water to sterilize it. And as for the lid, I'm just gonna wash it in really hot water. Okay. I don't have a pickling rock, but I'm hoping I can pack it in real tight. Sean Combs? P. Diddy? I have absolutely zero thoughts. I have no idea what's going on with that Diddy list. I just know a lot of people are fucked up, and the people in power get ego tripped even harder than normal everyday people, and I don't look at them as my people anymore, so I don't strive to understand them. I don't strive to fit them into my morality complexes anymore. The same goes for Zionists. They do not look at the world the way I look at the world. There is no way we will achieve any sort of actual understanding when we live such different realities. Theory of mind, full circle. But yes, I'm a huge fan of Diddy, obviously. Aren't you? The best trolls are people who know exactly who they are. Because they're not really tied to any particular aspect of their ego anymore. Which leaves them free to play. Because the best trolls, in my opinion, aren't the mean ones. They're the ones who can play and dance with you and joke with you. And it's like a interactive experience, you know? Those are my favorite kinds of trolls. So juicy. Purple juice. There are so many people who should be doing a lot of community service for the rest of their lives. There's a lot, guys. Why do I massage the cabbage? Because I'm trying to ease the liquid out of them so that I don't have to make another salt solution. I'm trying to use the natural juices of the cabbage to pure it in, ferment it in, basically. Nice. Ooh, that's hot. Ow. Okay. Ooh, that's really hot. Okay, we're gonna let that cool. I'm going to taste this cabbage off my hands, and I'm going to wipe the microwave while we let that cool. I don't want to put the cabbage into a straight hot jar because it might kill off the yeasty microbes and whatnot. I don't know how fermentation on sauerkraut works, but usually you don't want things boiling hot because you want the microorganisms to be happy. That caraway is delicious, guys. Honestly, I might make massaged cabbage salads like that from now on, even if it's not fermented. That is a delightful, crunchy texture. Yes, I would papers. You are coming at the very end of this. Although, if you want a, God, I'm losing my words. Encore? If you want an encore, I can show you my favorite microwave snack now, after the sauerkraut gets placed into the jar. Because I still want to eat cheese tonight. I think going on live stream is kind of a drug, because whenever I'm doing mundane things like cleaning out a microwave without a audience, it always feels more boring. I'm just like, I could be talking to invisible people while I'm doing this. Why aren't I? Why am I not? Everything is a dopamine hit these days. Especially if it's just in your mind. That's also part of the reason why I felt like I needed to break from streaming a little bit. I didn't want to get too dependent on it, almost. Still pretty hot. Still pretty hot. Okay, since that is still pretty hot, I'm gonna show you my snack first. I'm gonna give you the encore first, which makes no sense. It's not an encore anymore. A while back, I bought guys, I don't think that Bon Moment jar is gonna be big enough, but that's fine. We would rather a too small jar than a too big jar. A while back, I bought a bag of these rice flakes. They're supposed to go in soups, and you're supposed to like boil them like they're pieces of noodles, but I think you've seen some lives where I put them on a plate like this and I microwave them into chips. However, if you recall, last week I bought some American cheese, and I have discovered that if I lay the American cheese on top of these little flakes and microwave them, I make cheese crisps. So, we take, I want a skinnier slice, yes. We take a skinny slice of American cheese and we tear it in little bits. And we place one slice of cheese bit on each rice flake. And I try to get the flakes smaller than Sorry, I try to get the cheese smaller than the flake because when they melt, they get stuck to the plate, which is not great to clean. But whatever. And then when I microwave them, the cheese gets embedded and crunchified along with the flakes, which makes this like a super fun snack. I think I'm gonna dress it up this time with some spices. Last time I just had the cheese, which was fine. But I think it's gonna taste even better if I can spice it up a little bit. And then I want to eat a slice because American cheese is delicious. Bite me. Okay. Now, as far as the spices, black pepper, probably. Maybe some nutritional yeast? Just a sprinkling of microplastics. One of you reached out to me and was so concerned that I was using a plastic cutting board, and you were like, June, I'm sure you know about microplastics. I'm like, yep, just slicing a little sprinkle of microplastics into all of my meals. That cutting board is from Delish. I own that one along with my burnt wood cutting board. I should probably stop using it, or just like at least stop cutting into it. I could possibly still use it to roll things out on. But you're right. But also, I'm at that point where I'm just like, people's homes are burning up. People's whole families are getting extinct by American bombs. Do I care about microplastics? I don't know, guys. Maybe this is me being dead inside and outside now, but I just don't feel significant enough to worry about these things. No, I can buy myself a cutting board if I want. You're a darling. Thank you, though. All right, we're gonna cook this for 45 seconds. Eddie Dog, do you want to sell me your cutting board? Are you in New York City? All right, we're gonna let the chips cool, and we're gonna pack in the sauerkraut now. The chips have to cool a little bit so the cheese can set, which is perfect timing. We're multitasking our encore. This reminds me of Budget Eats. I would like time everything. Okay. I don't think this is gonna fit in here, but that's fine. Right? I think. The goal is to push it in and compact as much as possible. No space, no air. Just liquid and cabbage. Oh, you work at a cutlery store? You work at a cutlery store in San Francisco? Do you work at the cutlery? Why is that word so hard for me? In San Francisco? Because I think there's a really famous one. It's been there for like generations. Is it that one? Okay, it's gonna fit, guys. I don't know why I ever doubted you and me. How dare I? Yeah, well, I don't think that's the one. I think the one that I'm thinking of is in Chinatown, but I've actually looked up stuff from Bernal Cutlery before. You guys carry some nice knives. Yes. Look at that. Look at that juice. Look at that juice. Sarah. Isn't it great how we can predict what everyone's moves are as internet creatures now? So many knives. I do want to get healthy enough so I can finally visit some of my viewers and the cool stuff that they do. I've been invited to people's farms. I've been invited to people's stores. I've been invited to people's houses abroad. People have offered to take me like on a food tour if I visit their city. So many things have been offered to me over the years. Okay, I don't think we're supposed to have the space on top, unfortunately. But we do. So, I guess we'll have to see what happens. Get every last bit of juice in there. You get in there. Okay. So just for comparison's sake, is this the lid that I washed? Or is that the lid that I washed? I think it's this lid. I'm going to label this Kraut January 17th so that we remember when we started it. And then I'm going to show you the kraut that I bought from the farmer's market. This is actually a bigger jar. I don't think Bon Moment is 16 ounces. I think it's more like 12, maybe 10 or 12. This is a 16-ounce jar of wild fermented caraway and juniper sauerkraut. This is really salty, actually. I tasted one and I was like, whoa. So it says there's 8 servings per container and each serving has almost 500 milligrams of salt, which means in this jar, 5 times 8, 4,000 milligrams of salt. So 4 grams of salt. We actually use more salt because we use like almost 6 grams of salt here. So I wonder how saltier this is going to become as it ferments. It's fizzling. Do you hear it? The gas is escaping. It's like burp me. Burp me. We'll burp you. And I'll eat a little bit of you. So sour. So this was $8. And the cabbage here cost $2 plus all of our time. So we'll see. We'll see how this turns out. We'll see what happens in 2 to 3 weeks. I'll keep you here with my failed ginger bugs. That's my fermentation corner. All right, time for our encore. Look at that. We managed to make it an encore. Ta-da! Yeah, I got the pasteurized stuff and it's weird. It tastes weird. I'm sorry you can only eat pasteurized stuff. Maybe I can only eat pasteurized stuff too, and maybe that's why I'm dying. Maybe all the haters are right. Maybe I'm finally giving in to all of my small inoculations of food poisoning over the years from eating expired shit. Karma, it's come for me. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna pull you close, but I have to sit because my cramps are getting so bad. No, I think some people just can't handle unpasteurized stuff because of their systems. You ready? Some nutritional yeast and American cheese Rice Crisps. Let me give you a proper ASMR moment. That's pretty good. Come to Florida. Honestly, don't though. Gary, out of my 3 Hinge matches that I've dated, situationshiped, and relationshiped, 2 were from Florida. I really don't think I should touch Florida people again, at least romantically. I think they wreck me. The 2 that hurt me the most were both from Florida. So, I don't know. There's something in the water there that I can't stomach, y'all. I tried. They were really... I was really into them, but you know, sometimes those things, you end up not being able to pay for the things you want. Thank you for apologizing for all the straight Florida men. They were actually really cool up until the part where they broke my heart. You know, I wouldn't have been into them if they weren't cool. I'm not that bad. Well, I might be a bad judge. Well, no. You just can't. You live and you learn, right? I don't think they're... Well, one of them I think was a piece of shit, honestly, because one of them groped me. But I think some people just have issues and they don't realize how deep their issues go, and if they don't take time to work out their own issues, it can be very easy to hurt the people around them without them even realizing what's happening. But yeah, I'm gonna not date until I'm healthier, both mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because I can't pay for that shit anymore. My health is done. But thank you for joining me and snacking and eating and crowding. We massaged the shit out of this beautiful cabbage, and I look forward to its development. And that's it. I hope you all take care. Until I see you next time, let's go see Memo. Let's go see Memo. Okay. Memo, baby. Hi. Do you want to smell my snacky? No interest? You want one? No interest. Okay. Thank you for smelling. I'm gonna give you some space now so you can chill out. All right, bye guys.
Have a great day, have a great week, have a great life. See you next time.